Tuesday, September 25th, 1492. This day began with a calm and afterwards the wind rose. Continued the course west till night.
The admiral held a conversation with Martin Alonso Pinzon, captain of the Pinta, respecting a chart which the admiral had sent him 3 days before. On this chart it appears he had marked down certain islands in the sea. Martin Alonso said that the ships were in the position on which the islands were placed. The admiral replied that so it appeared to him, but it might be that they had not fallen in with them owing to the currents which had always carried the ships to the northeast, and that they had not made as much progress as the pilots stated. The admiral then asked for the chart to be returned to him, and it was sent back on a line. Then he began to plot their positions upon it in the presence of the pilot and sailors. At sunset, Martin Alonso went up on the poop of his ship and called out with great joy from his vessel to the admiral, claiming the reward as he had sighted land. The admiral says that when he heard this, he fell on his knees and returned thanks to God, and Martin Alonso with his crew repeated Gloria and Excelsis Deo, as did the crew of the admiral. Those on board the Nina ascended the rigging, and all declared they saw land. The admiral also thought it was land, and about 25 leagues distance. They remained all night repeating these affirmations, and the admiral ordered their course to be shifted from west to southwest, where the land appeared to lie. They sailed that day 4 leagues and a half west, and in the night 17 leagues southwest, in all 21 and a half. Told the crew 13 leagues, making it a point to keep them from knowing how far they had sailed. For it was always feigned to them that all the distances were less, so that the voyage might not appear so long. Thus 2 reckonings were kept, the shorter being feigned and the longer being the true one. The sea very smooth. Many of the sailors went in it to bathe alongside the ships. Saw many dories or dolphins and other fish. Wednesday, September 26, 1492. Continued the course west till the afternoon, then southwest, and discovered that what had been taken for land was nothing but clouds. Sailed day and night 31 leagues, reckoned to the crew 24. The sea was like a river, the air sweet and very soft. Thursday, September 27, 1492. Continued the course west and sailed, day and night 24 leagues. Reckoned to the crew 20. Saw many dolphins and killed one. Saw a tropic bird. Friday, September 28, 1492. Continued the course west and sailed day and night with calms 14 leagues. Reckoned 13. Met with little weed. Caught 2 dolphins, the other vessels more. Saturday, September 29, 1492. Continued the course west and sailed 24 leagues. Reckoned to the crew 21. On account of calms, made little progress this day. Saw a bird called a rabiacardo, or man-of-war bird, which forces the boobies to disgorge what they have swallowed, and then eats it. This is its only way of getting food. It is a seabird, but does not sleep on the sea, and does not go more than 20 leagues from land. There are many of them in the Cape Verde Islands. Afterwards there came 2 boobies. The air was soft and refreshing, and the admiral says nothing was wanting but the singing of the nightingale. The sea smooth as a river. 3 times saw boobies and a rabiacardo. Many weeds appeared. Sunday, September 30th, 1492. Continued west and sailed, day and night in calms, 14 leagues. Reckoned 11. 4 bosun birds came to the ship, which is a very clear sign of land, for so many birds of this kind together is a sign that they are not straying or lost. Twice saw boobies. Many weeds. Note that when night falls, the stars called the guardians are near the arm on the west side, and when dawn breaks are on the line below the arm to the northeast, so that it seems in the whole night they move only 3 lines, which are 9 hours. This is the case every night. Moreover, at nightfall the needles decline a quarter northeast, and at dawn they are true with the star. From this it appears that the star moves and the needles always point true. Monday, October 1st, 1492. Continued the course west and sailed 25 leagues. Reckoned to the crew 20. There was a heavy shower. At dawn the admiral's pilot made the distance from Hierro 578 leagues to the west. The short reckoning with the admiral showed his crew gave 584, but the true one which the admiral calculated and kept secret was 707. Tuesday, October 2nd, 1492. Continued west day and night 39 leagues. Reckoned to the crew 30. The sea always smooth. Many thanks be to God, says the admiral here. Weeds came from the east towards the west, contrary to their usual course. Saw many fish and took one. A white bird, which appeared to be a gull, was seen. Wednesday, October 3rd, 1492. Continued the usual course and sailed 47 leagues. Reckoned to the crew 40. Many sandpipers seen, and great quantities of weed, some of it old, and some very fresh, which appeared to contain fruit. Saw no other birds. The admiral believed the islands plotted on his chart had been passed. The admiral here says that he did not wish to keep the ships beating up and down as they had been the week before, when there were so many signs of land. Though he knew there were islands in that quarter, his wish was to proceed onward to the Indies. To linger on the way he thought would not be wise. Thursday, October 4th, 1492. Continued the course west, sailed day and night, 63 leagues, and reckoned to the crew 46. There came to the ship more than 40 sandpipers in a flock with 2 boobies. A ship's boy on board the caravel hit one of them with a stone. There also came a man-of-war bird to the ship, and a white bird like a gull. Friday, October 5th, 1492. Continued the course and sailed 11 miles an hour, day and night, 57 leagues. Reckoned to the crew 45. The wind abated in the night. Fine weather and the sea smooth. To God, says the admiral, be many thanks given. The air soft and temperate with no weed, many sandpipers and flying fish coming on the deck in numbers. Saturday, October 6th, 1492. The admiral continued his course and sailed 40 leagues, day and night. Reckoned to the crew 33. This night Martin Alonso Pinzo said that they had better steer from west to southwest. The admiral thought from this that Martin Alonso did not wish to proceed onward to Japan, but he considered it best to keep his course, as he should probably reach the land sooner in that direction, preferring to visit the continent first and then the islands. Sunday, October 7th, 1492. Continued west and sailed 12 miles an hour for 2 hours, then 8 miles an hour. Sailed, till an hour after sunrise, 23 leagues. Reckoned to the crew 18. All the vessels were striving to outsail one another and gain the reward promised by the king and queen by first discovering land. At sunrise the caravel Nina, which kept ahead on account of her swiftness in sailing, hoisted a flag on her masthead, and fired a lombard as a signal that she had discovered land, for such was the admiral's order. He had also ordered that at sunrise and sunset the ships should join him, as the air was more favorable at those times for seeing the greatest distance, the haze clearing away. Towards evening, seeing no land and observing large flocks of birds coming from the north and making for the southwest, the admiral determined to alter his course. He thought it probable that the birds were either going to the land to pass the night or abandoning the countries of the north, flying from the winter. Knowing that the Portuguese had discovered most of the islands they possessed by following the flight of birds, the admiral shifted his course from west to west, southwest, with a resolution to continue 2 days in that direction. This was done about an hour after sunset. Sailed in the night nearly 5 leagues, and 23 in the day, in all 28. Monday, October 8th, 1492. Steered west, southwest, and sailed, day and night, 11 or 12 leagues. At times during the night, 15 miles an hour. Found the sea like the river at Seville, thanks to God, says the admiral. The air soft as that of Seville in April, and so fragrant that it is delicious to breathe in. The weeds seemed very fresh. Many land birds. Took one that was flying towards the southwest. Also terns, ducks, and a pelican were seen. Tuesday, October 9th, 1492. Sailed southwest 5 leagues, when the wind changed, and then stood west by north 4 leagues. Sailed in the whole day and night 20 leagues and a half. Reckoned to the crew 17. All night heard birds passing. Wednesday, October 10th, 1492. Steered west, southwest, and sailed at times 10 miles an hour, at others 12, and at others 7. Day and night made 59 leagues progress. Reckoned to the crew but 44. Here the men could bear no more and complained of the length of the voyage. But the admiral encouraged them in the best way he could, giving them good hope of the advantages they might gain from it. He added that however much they might complain, having come so far he had nothing to do but go to the Indies, and he would go on until he found them, with the help of our Lord. Thursday, October 11th, 1492. Steered west, southwest. There was a heavier sea than had been met with before in the whole voyage. Saw sandpipers and a green brush near the vessel. The crew of the Pinta saw a cane and a log. They also picked up a stick which appeared to have been carved with an iron, a piece of cane, a plant which grows on land, and a board. The crew of the Nina saw other signs of land and a stalk loaded with roseberries. Everyone breathed afresh and rejoiced at these signs. Sailed this day till sunset, 27 leagues. After sunset steered their original course west, and sailed 12 miles an hour till 2 hours after midnight, going 22 leagues and a half. As the Pinta was the swiftest sailor and kept ahead of the admiral, she discovered land and made the signals ordered by the admiral. The land was first seen by a sailor called Rodrigo de Triana, although the admiral at 10 o'clock that evening, being on the castle of the poop, saw a light, but so small a body that he could not affirm it to be land. Calling to Pedro Gutierrez, gentleman of the king's bedchamber, he told him he saw light and bid him look that way, which he did and saw it. The admiral said the same to Rodrigo Sanchez of Segovia, whom the king and queen had sent with the fleet as inspector, but he could see nothing, because he was not in a place whence anything could be seen. After the admiral had spoken, he saw the light once or twice again, appearing and disappearing like the light of a wax candle moving up and down. Few thought this an indication of land, but the admiral held it for certain that land was near. For which reason, after they had said the salve, which the seamen were accustomed to repeat and chant after their fashion, the admiral directed them to keep a strict watch upon the forecastle, and to watch well for land. To him, who should first cry out that he saw land, he said he would give a silken doublet besides the reward of 10,000 maravedis a year which the king and queen had offered. At 2 o'clock in the morning the land was sighted at the distance of 2 leagues. Shortened sail remaining under the square tail, and the vessels were hove to waiting for daylight. Friday, October 12th, 1492. When it grew light they found themselves near a small island, one of the Lucayos, called in the Indian language Guanahani. Presently they saw people naked, and the admiral went on shore in the armed boat, along with Martin Alonso Pinzon and Vincent Yanes, his brother, captain of the Nina. The admiral bore the royal standard, and the 2 captains each carried a banner of the green cross which all the ships had carried. This contained the initials of the names of the king and queen, each side of the cross, and a crown over each letter. Arrived on shore, they saw trees very green, many streams of water, and fruits of many kinds. The admiral called to the 2 captains, and to others who leapt on shore, and to Rodrigo de Escobedo, secretary of the whole fleet, and to Rodrigo Sanchez of Segovia, to bear witness that before all others he took possession, as in fact he now did, of that island for the king and queen, his sovereigns, making the declarations that are required, as is most largely set down in testimonies, which were then made in writing. Presently large numbers of the inhabitants crowded to the shores. Here follow the actual words of the admiral. And I saw that they were very friendly to us, and perceived that they could be much more easily converted to our holy faith by gentle means than by force. I presented them with some red caps and strings of glass beads to put round their necks, and many other trifles of small value, which gave them great pleasure. Wherewith they were much delighted, and this made them so much our friends that it was a marvel to see. Afterwards they came swimming to the boats, bringing parrots, balls of cotton thread, javelins, and many other things which they exchanged for articles we gave them, such as glass beads and hawks' bells. In fine, they took all and gave what they had with good will. But they seemed on the whole to me to be a very poor people. They all go as naked as when their mothers bore them, even the women, though I saw but one girl. All whom I saw were young, not above 30 years of age, well made, with fine shapes and faces. Their hair is short and coarse like that of a horse's tail. They wear the hairs brought down to the eyebrows, combed towards the forehead, except a few locks behind, which they wear long and never cut. Some paint themselves black, some paint themselves white, others red, and others with such colors as they can find. Some paint the face, and some the whole body. Others only around the eyes, and others the nose. They are like the canaries, neither black nor white. Weapons they have none, nor are acquainted with them, for I showed them swords, which they grasped by the blades and cut themselves through ignorance. They had no iron, their darts being wands without iron and nothing more than sticks. Some of them have a fish's tooth at the end, others being pointed in various ways. The people are all of a good size and stature, with good faces and well made. I saw some with scars of wounds upon their bodies, and asked by signs the cause of them. They answered me in the same way that there came people from other islands in the neighborhood with the intention of seizing them, and they defended themselves. I thought then, and still believe, that these came from the mainland to take them prisoners. It appears to me that the people are ingenious and would be good servants, and I am of opinion that they would very readily become Christians, as they appear to have no religion. They very quickly learn such words as are spoken to them. If it please our Lord, I intend at my return to carry home 6 of them to your highnesses, that they may learn our language. I saw no beast on this island of any kind, except parrots. These are the words of the admiral. Here begins an account of the first 2 days in America, together with woodcuts from the letter of Columbus published upon his return. The woodcuts are from one of the Latin translations of Columbus's letter published 1493. Saturday, October 13, 1492. At daybreak, great multitudes of men came to the shore, all young and of fine shapes, and very handsome. Their hair was not curly, but loose and coarse, like horse hair. All have foreheads much broader than any people I had hitherto seen. Their eyes are large and very beautiful. They are not black, but the color of the inhabitants of the Canaries. Nor should anything else be expected, they being in the same latitude with the island of Hierro in the Canaries. They are straight-limbed, without prominent bellies, and are very well formed. They came to the ships in small canoes made of a single trunk of tree, wrought in a wonderful manner considering the country. Some of them are large enough to contain 40 or 45 men, others smaller, and some only large enough to hold 1 man. They rowed with an oar like a baker's shovel, and go at a marvelous rate. If they happen to upset, they all jump into the sea, and swim till they have righted their canoe and bailed it out with the calabashes that they carry with them. They came loaded with balls of cotton, parrots, javelins, and other things too numerous to mention. These they exchanged for whatever we chose to give them. I was very attentive to them, and strove to learn if they had any gold. Seeing some of them with little bits of metal hanging at their noses, I gathered from them by signs that by going southward or steering round the island in that direction, there would be found a king who possessed great cups full of gold, and in large quantities. I tried to get them to go there, but found they were unacquainted with the route. I determined to stay here till the evening of the next day, and then sail for the southeast. For according to what I could learn from them, there was land at the south and northwest, as well as at the southwest. The natives from these lands came many times and fought with them, and proceeded on to the southwest in search of gold and precious stones. This island is rather large and very flat, with bright green trees, and a very large lake in the center without any mountain. The whole land is so green that it is a pleasure to look on. The natives are very docile and desirous to possess anything they saw with us. But not having anything to give in return, they take what they can get and presently swim away. Still they give away all they have got for whatever may be given to them, down to broken bits of crockery and glass. I saw one give 16 skeins of cotton thread, which weighed above 25 pounds, for 3 Portuguese sutis, the skeins being as much as an arroba of cotton thread. This traffic I forbade, and suffered no one to take their cotton from them, unless I should order it to be procured for your highness, if proper quantities could be met with. It grows in this island, but from my short stay here I could not satisfy myself fully concerning it. The gold also which they wear in their noses is found here, but not to lose time, I am determined to see if I can find the island of Japan. Now, as it is night, all the natives have gone on shore with their canoes. The island of Hispaniola, now Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Small islands in the Bahamas with the names Columbus gave them. Sunday, October 14, 1492. At dawn I ordered the ship's boat and the boats of the caravel to be got ready, and coasted along the island toward the north-northeast, to see the other side of it, we having landed first on the eastern side. Presently I saw 2 or 3 villages, and the people all came down to the shore, calling out to us and giving thanks to God. Some brought us water and others food. Others, seeing that I was not disposed to land, plunged into the sea and swam out to us. We understand that they asked us if we had come from heaven. One old man came on board my boat. The others, both men and women, cried with loud voices, "Come and see the men who have come from heaven. Bring them food and drink." There came many of both sexes, everyone bringing something, giving thanks to God, throwing themselves on the ground and lifting up their hands to heaven. They shouted to us to come on shore, but I was afraid to land, seeing an extensive reef of rocks which surrounds the whole island. Although within there is a depth of water and room sufficient for all the ships of Christendom, there is a very narrow entrance. There are some shoals within side, but the sea has no more motion than the water in a well. In order to see all this, I set out in the morning, for I wished to give a full account to your highnesses, as also to find out where a fort might be built. I discovered a tongue of land which appeared like an island, though it was not one, but might be cut through and made so in 2 days. On it were 6 houses. I do not, however, see the necessity of thus fortifying the place, as the people here are simple in warlike matters, as your highnesses will see by those 7 which I caused to be taken and carried to Spain in order to learn my language and return, unless your highnesses should order them all to be brought to Castile, or to be kept as captives on the same island. I could conquer the whole of them with 50 men and govern them as I pleased. Near the islet I have mentioned were groves of trees, the most beautiful I have ever seen, with leaves as green as those of Castile in the month of April and May. There were also many streams. After having taken a survey of these parts, I returned to the ship and set sail. I saw so many islands that I knew not which first to visit. Those natives whom I had taken on board informed me by signs that there were so many of them that they could not be numbered. They repeated the names of more than 100. I determined to steer for the largest, and so I did. It will be distant about 5 leagues from San Salvador and the others, some more and some less. All are very flat, and all are inhabited. The natives make war on each other, although these are very simple-minded and handsomely formed people. These are the words of the admiral. The island of Hispaniola.